Yeah. Start now?
Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Watch out!
When everybody listens to a young rock master, DJ who rich like a bastard, more better than the altar. Still beneath the compare, but compare with upgrade. When I am in here, I'm without no fear. When everybody listens to a young rock master, DJ who rich like a bastard, more better than the altar. So let me the way with the eat it, I get them, I hear, but even care, put my bed, but what you get to read it.
When we get that song, when we get that hey, when we get that song, when we get hey.
Welcome to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. My name is One Iam, and I am your host. And on my right hand is Miss Debbie, the co-host.
Hey, everybody. How are you today?
Miss Debbie is in the house. I'm going to say they all right, but, you know, she might question me on that.
I don't know. I'm looking for my one new caller to call me and tell me if you okay today.
Now, earlier, I was in the chat room, and the sound went off. So I don't know if I'm being heard or not. You know, is anybody hearing me in the chat room at all on the radio? Before I start, you know, just ranting and everything, I was wondering if you could hear me now. Can you hear me now? And we're not trying to sell telephones. Verizon, what is that, Verizon?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not trying to sell telephones or anything like that. We're just saying, can you hear me now? Let me look over here in the chat room and see if anybody's saying they can hear me now. They can hear me now. Oh, yes, we're back up. That's what Nighthawk is saying. Okay. Well, we finna go ahead and do our thing. We back up. Revolution Radio. Excuse me. Hello. Bless you.
Thank you. That's a natural habitat.
Right. Bless
I bust my brains trying to hold that in.
Bless you, my child.
Thank you. It's from working in the yard. He's a slave driver. He just made me cut grass.
You're the one who made me do all that work. And
he makes me cut grass.
She had me trimming. She had me doing the edger. She had me doing everything.
And I got some beautiful golf course grass out there.
Right. We should put a couple of tees out there or something and, you know, hit a few balls.
No, I better not catch you even stepping on my grass.
Ooh, yeah, okay. Only when I cut it.
Right.
All right, this is listener-supported radio, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Everybody knows that. It's listener-supported. And I'm right here on the air again and everything because the listeners have been good. Hopefully, please hit that donate button. Give $1, $2, whatever you can to keep us on the air. You know, sponsor a show. You can sponsor a show. A lot of people have already. It's a beautiful thing to sponsor a show. You know, you be the sponsor of a whole 2-hour show. And, you know, it's reasonable, too. I think it's like $20 or something like that. You know, we need sponsors. And we like sponsors, our listeners to be sponsors, not the corporations and the, you know, the politicians and everything, trying to buy showtime and control what you say and everything. So consider that and consider this great show, Urban Revolution, on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com when you do hit that donate button. Thank you so much. You know, I want to get into a couple of stories. I want to talk about urban fanatics tonight. Urban fanatics and devotees. You know, you would be surprised at the number of literal devotees that are in a city, you know, in an urban area. And you run into them all the time and get in trouble with them. You know, if you say the wrong thing about whoever they are devoted to,
Wow.
You feel me? Yeah. You know, they can't even take constructive criticism of like a public figure or something, or you know, a minister or something like that. You know, that they're devoted to. They immediately, you know, attack you and etc. And it really, the relationship that you have with the people is in jeopardy when the minute you say something about whoever they're devoted to. And Debbie, you're going to have a phone conversation right here next to me. You are something else. This is Miss Debbie. She is a character, a special character. And has a mind of her own and everything. And
excuse me?
Yeah, you can't tell Debbie nothing, what to do or nothing. You can talk to her, though. I'm not saying you can't talk to her, but you're not going to be her boss.
Not unless you got 2 G's, 2 billion.
You feel me?
Then you can tell me what to do. I don't mirror no man, I don't mark no man, and I stand on my own 2 feet.
That's right. And she bring what she got to the table, and I bring what I have to the table, and we share it at the table.
That's right. If I eat, he eat. If he don't eat, I don't eat.
There it is.
That's the way it rolls.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I do want to get into that urban fanatic and devotee thing, but I want to take a little bit of time to talk about a couple news stories that passed this week. And the one was Marissa Alexander. She gets 20 years for firing a warning shot after her stand your ground defense failed. Okay. Marissa Alexander, whose case brought allegations that Florida's stand your ground law is being unfairly applied, was sentenced to 20 years in prison Friday after being convicted of 3 counts of aggravated assault after firing a warning shot during a dispute with her husband. The case sparked a confrontation between a congresswoman and the prosecutor after the sentencing in Jacksonville, Florida. Alexander, 31, claims she fired a shot from a handgun into the wall to protect herself during a confrontation with her husband, who she said had abused her. 2 children were with him when she fired a shot in his direction, as she was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault. Her attorney claimed self-defense and cited the state's stand your ground law, which gives people some protection from prosecution for using potentially deadly force in cases in which they feel their life is threatened. The law came under nationwide scrutiny during the Trayvon Martin case, where neighborhood watch volunteer George Zimmerman shot an unarmed teen, and authorities waited weeks before charging him. And, you know, there were allegations of abuse from Marissa, that her husband had abused her and this, that, and the other, and that he possibly was going to abuse her some more that day. But a jury agreed with prosecutors that the law didn't apply because she left the argument, got a gun, and returned to confront him. So they said you can't apply that. I guess with stand your ground, you got to stand your ground right then and there at the time, right?
I suppose.
You can't go out to the garage or go outside and get a gun, then come back in and like I'm standing my ground now. You could have went over the fence and went about your business, right?
I suppose. Well, you know, my thing is she should have just shot him dead. There would be no witnesses.
She didn't have a gun at the time.
I'm talking about when she came back.
Well, yeah. When she came back, I don't know, you know, if that would have been the thing to do. But I guess they offered her a plea of something like 3 years or whatever.
She turned it down.
And she turned down the plea. Of course, you know, you don't want to do 3 years.
It's better than 20.
On a plea when you know you really didn't do anything. I just discharged a firearm in the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? In order to stop some guy from choking me out or whatever, coming at me. So you don't want to take 3 years for that. So you go to trial, right? And you take your chances or whatever, right? And that's what happens when you take your chances. And let me tell you, this is the way this justice system is. These laws are quirky, and they're funny, the way they work and the way they apply. And you can go ahead and take your chances. When they offering you a plea and everything, I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of innocent people who didn't do the crimes, charged with the crimes and everything. They're faced with 25 years if they lose in court in a trial. Okay. And then you get down there and even in Wayne County here in Detroit, Michigan, the whole jury pool is white, not Detroiters, but people from other places in Wayne County, the outskirts way of Wayne County, way out, the people have driven in and all they know about Detroiters is what they read in the newspapers and see on the news and everything. And they're sitting there ready to judge you on some crime. Okay? So when the prosecutor offers you a plea, you could take 5 years now, possibly be out in 3.5, or take your chances with this jury over here, and you get 25 to life, good if you lose. Then a lot of innocent people just bite their fingernails and say, damn, I got to do it. I got to take the plea. You feel me? And I'm telling you, 90% of the cases that go down to the court here in Detroit, 90% of them probably people take a plea rather than go to the jury. And that's the way it's going. You think this system is fair and everything? It ain't happening. As a matter of fact, I just posted on Facebook today where they executed a guy, the wrong guy in '89. Okay. Executed him down there. I think it was Texas, but they executed this guy for some murder that he did not commit. And it was all kind of evidence and everything saying he didn't commit it. But people just blew by it and done a shoddy investigation and, tried to make like the cops did a quick arrest and everything and, did their job good, just covering themselves.
Well, the judicial system right now is so whacked up.
It's a wreck.
And no matter what it is, you could really be innocent. You could be not guilty. You could be not the person that's really, responsible for whatever it is. But the sad thing is that it's up to you to prove your case. They don't really, it used to be back in the day that the people that was accusing you had to prove a case. Now,
right,
you got to go in court and defend yourself. Like, nope, that ain't mine.
But check it out.
Me.
You got to have that money. You got to have money.
Somebody else used my driver's license. Somebody else did this.
They want you to have money. They want you to have a lawyer. If you get one of them court appointments, you won't even see him until court day. When they bring you from the jail over there and sit you in the box, and then he'll come over and ask you, what's up? What's this case about? Okay? And then try to do it from right then and there. Right. But there ain't going to be no prep, no investigations or anything going on. You just going to get somebody to stand in front of the judge. And they're going to give him a whole stack of cases, not just yours. And he going to run through them like he running through Harlem Sissies. You feel me? I'm just saying. That's the way it's working. And now this girl here just had a baby. Like, I think she got a 9-week-old baby or a 9-month-old baby. And on top of that, she got a master's degree from some college and messing around with her husband, her ex-husband, and fighting and et cetera. She didn't want to kill him, but she didn't want to be, beat down and et cetera. She's got 20 years to do.
Again, she should have shot him. 20
years to do. And guess what?
Just because he was beating her.
She can appeal and everything like this, that, and the other. But she probably going to lose on the appeal. Especially if she come with the, I guess you got to still come with the stand your ground law and everything. that she went in there on. So 20 years, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, you just, in my own mind, I want to shoot her out myself. I'm telling you, like, come on, baby, I got you. You know what I'm saying? This is just crazy. It's wild. Okay? Now, I'm going to move off of that story. I don't want to think about it no more right now, how horrible it is. But also, a good thing happened was Arpaio, he faces a new sheriff in town. This is the guy down there in Arizona, the sheriff in Arizona that beats up on all the Mexicans down there. Well, he say he's, chasing down the illegals and obeying the law and everything, but really they profiling all the Mexican citizens down there. American citizens, Mexican-American citizens that have been here for generations and et cetera, are just being profiled to death. That's Debbie's phone again. Her phone be blowing up. Please excuse her. I've already said something once, but hey, I can only say what I can. I'm not a brute. I don't manhandle my woman. I talk to her. That's it. Anyway, Arpaio, they suing this guy, the feds, a few days after the toughest sheriff in America oversaw his 60th Latino harassing raid in the Phoenix area. The Obama administration's top civil rights lawyer flew to Phoenix and slapped Sheriff Joe Arpaio and his office with a monumental civil rights tort alleging rampant constitutional abuses, including widespread racial profiling of Latinos. The suit also claims the sheriff violated the civil rights of his critics by illegal retaliation. That included baseless lawsuits and meritless administrative actions. Now 79, Arpaio claims he's innocent and dismisses the lawsuit as politicking by the Obama administration in an election year. This isn't about politics, Thomas Perez, the Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, told the Daily Beast during an interview at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Phoenix. I like how Obama, he sends the Assistant Attorney General. He could have sent a whole lot of people down there, right? But he picked somebody named Thomas Perez and sends him down there to get the sheriff. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Obama's a cool dude in a lot of ways. You feel me? Yeah, the lawsuit isn't about money either, he said. It's about changing the culture in the sheriff's office, putting in place systems that improve the department and make the community safer. This is about public safety, said Perez. It's about the Constitution. The most disturbing allegations made by Team Perez center on violence against Latino women. In one case, the suit says a 5 months pregnant American citizen was stopped as she pulled into her driveway. Officers ordered her to sit on the hood of her car. She refused. This is in Arizona now, okay? It's kind of hot in Arizona, and especially when you've been driving the car. The engine gets hot and the hood gets hot, but the sun makes the hood hot anyway. Okay, so they asked her to sit on the car on the hood of her car. She refused. They slammed her into the car 3 times with the fetus side first. Next, they placed the woman in a patrol car without air conditioning for half an hour. Windows up, everything, slam her in the car. She's in there for half an hour like she's in a sweat box. Okay? She was released and cited with failure to provide identification. Later, the charge was changed to failure to provide proof of insurance. Just try to find any kind of little reason that what you did to her was right. And put some charge on her that she got to start paying money to you now. This is the way they operate all across the nation, not just in Arizona. In another case, deputies trailed a U.S. citizen to her home. And these are Latino or Mexican citizens. Citizens just like you and just like me. In another case, deputies trailed a U.S. citizen to her home, then knocked her to the ground, kneed her in the back, and handcuffed her when she tried to run into her house, the suit alleges. They charged her with disturbing the peace. A judge dismissed the charge. In the jails, some Latinos were placed in solitary confinement because they didn't speak English. So they don't speak English. Well, put them in solitary confinement. Okay? On the streets, Latinos were 9 times more likely to be stopped than non-Latinos. And sheriff's officials detained dozens of Latinos because probable cause included smelling of a strong body odor. Okay? Or appearing nervous and avoiding eye contact, the lawsuits. Of course, these guys are like hawking you. Basically, you don't want to look at him. You know what I'm saying? You try to avoid eye contact because he's a monster. You look at him, he might come your way or whatever. Okay? But even that's a crime. You don't look at him, he's coming after you anyway because you didn't look at him. You didn't make eye contact. I'll tell you one thing about it anyway. If you out here with these cops and this and that, other than you passing by them in a car, make eye contact, okay? I'm telling you, when you do make eye contact and you look at them with a strong look, when you ain't breaking and you ain't blinking, almost like you wish he would pull you over, okay? They don't pull you over. They don't. They keep riding. I've noticed that myself. Try it, okay? But if you got a strong body odor, they're gonna pull you over, arrest you or whatever. That's probable cause to check you out because you don't use deodorant, okay? The Department of Justice first began investigating Arpaio in 2008. In 2010, it sued the sheriff to get documents. In 2011, it accused the sheriff of engaging in rampant racial profiling and proffered a 128-page consent decree that would change the culture in the sheriff's office. But the sheriff balked at having a monitor, saying, "I will not surrender my office to the federal government." 5 months later, the Justice Department filed a lawsuit. On the night before the suit was filed, Arpaio submitted a plan to bring his office up to civil rights snuff, but still balked at the monitor idea. Perez said it was too little and too late. So now Perez is on his case, Let's see. I wonder, does it feel, I'm just saying, how does it feel, Arpaio, to, have like a Latino or a Mexican on your case now, instead of you being on their cases. And they're citizens. A lot of them are citizens. You can't beat up and brutalize everybody, Mexican and Latino, because you think they snuck over here across the border. Okay? You got to find a fair way to do things. And a lot of people always look at the end. Like, look at the end result. We got fewer Mexicans over here. We got this, we got that. Everything's going better. This, that. And, yeah, but look at the means by which you reach the end. The end that you reach does not justify the means. If you've brutalized and took an advantage of everybody to get where you got. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the case in a lot of different actions and et cetera, where people just look at the end result. Like people look at the United States and say, oh, what a great place this is, and how powerful it's been. And, and it is, and it's a superpower, and this, that, and the other. Yeah, but look how they got here. You know what I'm saying? Look where it started and what it went through and what it did. And the genocide, the slavery, the everything, the whole process, the Jim Crow, everything you got to take into consideration. and say, yeah, we're here now, you know, but does the end justify the means? And some people say, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating good, I'm rich, I'm wealthy. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how I got here. You know, I'm here now, balling out, ball till I fall. You feel me? So I'm just saying, I don't think that the end justifies the means. I think the means by how you wait, the way you get somewhere and how you get somewhere is very important. You know, whether you did it honestly and fairly, and whether you cheated the whole way, whether you murdered and killed your way all the way to the top, you know, whether you actually had some academic ability or you just had good sex and you slept your way all the way to the top of the Fortune 500. You know what I'm saying? You might be there, but I think the means are important by how you got there. You know, so I don't let that slide just because everything looks good in the end. You feel me? Debbie, do you want to chime in on that?
No, I'm going to let you keep going.
You don't want to talk about that? The end, does the end justify the means? You feel me?
Sometimes it does,
sometimes it does. When? Yeah. When does it?
When you're doing something good, it does.
When you're doing something good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when you got a good end, does it justify how you got there if you got there in a horrible way?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
If I could run up into the White House and slaughter everybody in there and then just be up on the second floor.
Well, that's not how.
Like, I'm the president now.
That's not good.
Huh?
That's not good.
But in the end, I'm the president. I'm in the house. Okay? And I'm in charge and everything's good.
No, that's not a good example.
Well, what's a good example? I'm just saying, does the end justify the means by how you get somewhere? I don't think so.
Well, it's like going to school. You go to school, you get the knowledge, and at the end, it does justify the means.
Okay, some people get the knowledge, some people cheat their way all the way through. So
I guess it's the flip of how you want to look at it. I guess maybe I just don't look at things in an unpositive way so often. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the means does. If you go to school, you work hard, you get good grades, you end up succeeding. You know what I'm saying? And the end justifies the means. I
feel you. Let me say this, that you are listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I am your host, One Iam, and on my right hand is the co-host, Miss Debbie. She is here with us, and our call-in number here is 347-688-2902. I'm going to give that to you slow. One more time, just in case you did not hear it. I know how some people, let me tell you, you say the numbers and they get them jumbled every time. They'd be like 743. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you'd be like, are you dyslexic? What's going on, man? Like the numbers guy. We got a guy that punches the numbers in for people that do the lottery around the corner at the gas station. This is the one guy that should not be doing the numbers. I don't think he's ever punched in a number that somebody said punch in right or correct.
Oh, really?
You know the guy who messes up your numbers, who messes up everybody's numbers around there. And then you end up buying the tickets anyway that he messed up. Because
the lottery tickets.
The lottery tickets.
Yeah, okay. I was like, what kind of, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and the lottery and around the gas station.
The lottery tickets, okay, yeah.
But,
he always do that.
Yeah, he jacks the numbers up so bad, and then you feel like, I can't throw that ticket away because that might be the one to win. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's not my number, I take that one too. I don't know. Does he does it on purpose to sell more tickets? Maybe. I don't know.
Nah, I don't know. Maybe he's dyslexic.
Maybe so. But anyway, I'm going to say the number one more time. 347-688-2902. That's the call-in number. If you have any comments or anything about does the end justify the means, by all means, do contact me. Call in. Let me know how you feel about that. And also on the Marissa Alexander story, if you got any comments on that, I'd be glad to hear those. What do you think? I mean, the law is the law, right? I don't like the way they're doing the law down there in Florida and other places, because the legislature puts in these mandatory type things where, if you do this crime, you have to give 20 years mandatory. So it kind of takes away the leeway for a judge to look at a case individually and then judge that case, on its own individual merits. You got a one-size-fits-all legislated sentence that he has to apply, okay? And as you can see in this case, it's just a bad application, but he got to do what he got to do once they have legislated his power away, his power to judge. So he's really not a judge. He's like the legislature's boy sitting there. If she loses, I got to give her 20. And that's what he did. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to keep his job and everything and do what he got to do. So that's what he did. And, I would prefer judges to be able to judge and not have all these mandatory sentences and everything. But then, you know how it is. A lot of the judges and et cetera feel that black guys should have a lot more than white guys when it comes to sentencing and different things like that. And the Latinos should have more than other people. So I guess they do come with mandatories and guidelines and sentencing guidelines and different things like this that the judges have to, stick to and adhere to. But then again, it all goes back to what I just said. This system is jacked up. This justice system, it needs repair. It needs repair, or it needs to be dumped completely. And then you just start over again with something new and different. I know in the old days, there were if you go back ancient, there were places where they didn't even have jails and et cetera. For criminals and all this kind of stuff, in Africa, like Egypt and different places like that. Jails and et cetera didn't exist at one time. But if they really did get somebody that was, like a bad person or somebody they didn't want around, you didn't jail him. You just banned him from the land. What do they call that when they put a person out? When they put a person out of the land? I remember.
Put him in exile?
Yeah, there you go. Exiled him. That's what they did. Like, you go somewhere else, man. We're not going to abuse you, beat you down or whatever, but you just have to leave this town and don't come back. That type of thing, They didn't lock people in a cage and all that kind of stuff. But, it's a different day, and people would be glad to go somewhere else today and continue doing what they was doing here. So I can understand why they do lock people up today, and this, that, and the other. All right, let me get into this urban fanatics and the devotees, and the reason why I want to get into urban fanatics and devotees. Hold on, I got a call coming in. One caller. Caller, are you there?
I am here. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Just wonderful. This is Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor in the house.
Connor, how are you today?
Just fabulous. How are you two?
Oh, we're
tired.
doing well. I'm doing good. I'm not tired. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do it.
And Dee Eastman is in the house, too.
Dee Eastman is in the house.
Hi, Dee Eastman.
Okay.
How are you today?
Yeah. So what's the deal? You want to chime in on Any of those stories I just mentioned?
Well, yeah. Well, first about the justice system and how it needs repair. I totally agree. It does need repair.
Yeah.
I believe it can be fixed, though, as far as, like you were saying, for the most part, a lot of people that get accused of certain crimes, they're innocent.
Yeah.
And so they are threatened with 25 to 40 years for something that they didn't do. And they realize what they're up against and they feel like they don't have a chance. And so they end up taking a plea and saying, well, I'll take 10 years instead of 25 years for something that I didn't even do.
Right.
I feel like if everyone that was innocent was to say, I'm going to fight, I'm just going to fight, that the justice system couldn't function under that volume. Yeah. I think the reason why it does function the way as smoothly as it does is because people buckle under that pressure. And I can imagine what kind of pressure, that is. I'm pretty sure it's intense, but what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And when we start being people of character, of quality character, and fighting for what we believe in, no matter what, then the system will have to gear itself toward the people, because the power is in numbers, and the numbers are the people. Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
You know what? Like I was saying, like probably 80-90% of the cases are settled on a plea. So if that many cases they said, no, I'm not taking the plea, get you a jury. You know what I'm saying? And let's take it all the way to court and go through the whole process.
Right.
They couldn't do it. I'm telling you, they could not do it.
They could not handle the volume.
They couldn't handle the volume.
Not in a trial court or even in traffic court or in anything. If people just said, look, I didn't do it and I'm not about to admit that I did, I'm going to fight it to the end. I don't care what it takes. Exactly. They couldn't handle the volume. And so I think that happens in everything, we the people. And I always say that because I feel like the people have the power, but we need to get on one accord.
Yeah. Right.
And so if that happens in everything as far as the corporate world, the way these corporations work, they only work because we allow them to work. Yeah. If we said no to the banks, I'm not going to pay your fees, you're not going to jank me around, you're not going to do X, Y, and Z with my account.
Send a SWAT team out to your house, though.
How many SWAT teams do they have? If we all said I'm not going to deal with
Exactly. They can't get us all.
They can't get us all.
They make a few examples. They make a few examples. They scare you. They send them black boots out there with that big tank and everything. And you'd be like, oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? I got to pay this man. I got to pay Mr. Uncle Sam and the IRS and the bank and everything. I got to pay, or they're going to take everything I got. And if I try to put up any resistance, then here come this big-ass SWAT team.
Yeah.
And, man, they're going to blow my dome off. You know what I'm saying?
But just imagine if a community got together and said, no, y'all are not about to put these people out.
Yeah.
We're not going to let you put them out. The whole community.
That's what you have to do. Imagine it, because it's not going to happen.
Oh, exactly. You're right.
Imagine it. People are just not, they just don't care about other people like that, where they're going to put their own lives on the line and everything like that. For these banks attacking people and putting them out, even though they attacking them and putting them out, they robo-signing foreclosure notices and all kind of different things, and don't even have the original deed on the property or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But they sending foreclosure notices to houses they don't even own and different things like this, and putting people out and everything. But hey, what you gonna do? You're gonna resist. You resist. You know what happens. Mm-hmm. Big brother come out here, with all the police and everything, and when I'm gonna tell you how they do you, especially if you violently resist, with arms, lock yourself, barricade yourself in the house. They're gonna knock on everybody's door around you, all your neighbors, and tell them to leave town. You got to go for your own safety and everything. They're going to block off your street and your alley and this, that, and the other. They're going to take up positions in all the houses around you and everything. Snipers and different things like that, looking to see if they can get a shot at your head. And then they basically gonna set your house on fire while you're in it and shoot you when you run out. You feel me?
Right.
That's what they gonna do. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they gonna put it on the news that you was a wacko. You know, they had to take you out. You just lost it over your property in your house, this, that, and the other. Okay. Yeah. And you're going to be looked at as a wacko. And somebody, the guy that shot you when you come out the house, he going to get a medal. Okay?
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
going to get a medal and a promotion.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's, it's because this country has no integrity. And because it has no integrity, neither does the people that's in it.
Right.
And so you're right, we don't care. And when you talk about the ends justifying the means, that depends on what the means are and what kind of costs or what kind of price, I should say, we're going to have to pay.
Yeah.
And I think I understand where you were going is that, people would do anything no matter what, and they don't care what the cost or who it costs as long as they, in their minds, gain. But what they fail to realize is that we all lose, and we are losing.
Yeah,
this country is gone absolutely down to nothing. America is not great, it's not powerful, and it's not strong anymore. They own absolutely nothing because of their greed,
so much debt, yeah.
Yeah, they have so much debt because of their greed, because they have no pride, they have no integrity, and they have no love and compassion for humanity. So with that being said, it's really about who has the biggest gun.
Right.
Because
who has the biggest gun. You said it right there.
Because who's going to sit down and talk at this point? Because that's not the name of the game. Right. And these laws are just rules that people make up for their own convenience, the powers that be. They got so many laws and rules and they only become laws when it become a rule of a situation or something that happened or a case. It becomes then a law that they can use, like playing chess. Well, they used it here, we'll use it there.
Yeah.
But is it right? Is it fair? Does it apply? These are the things we really need to understand, because you're talking about people here. You're not talking about things. You're not talking about pawns and pieces on a board. I mean,
right.
You're talking about human beings, but that is how we're looked upon as.
Yeah.
In society, we're not considered human beings. We're not considered people made of flesh and blood and spirit. Right. So people don't care about that anymore. And so nobody cares. It's like everybody's looking out for themselves. Because there used to be a time where people would lay down and die for you. Not for you, but for what was right.
For some principles, yeah.
Yeah. They would do it no matter what. They would walk and not get on that bus. I don't care how many days. Right. Endless. Because they were not going to allow you to disrespect them. That's all they had. Now we don't have that.
Right.
So...
Yeah, disrespect them no more, because they've done it a long time.
They did it
but they finally got fed up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a dead end. It really is like a dead end. People talk and people say these things that they want to do, but you can see the actions in the works of people who are really wanting to do something. Amen. You can see it, so it gets to a point where everybody's tuned out. You don't even want to hear it anymore. You don't want to hear politics. You don't want to hear, you don't want to pretty much listen to anything that anybody has to say across the board. Everybody has done something grimy from Capitol Hill all the way down to the classroom when you teach children.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you children can't even trust the people in their community or even their own teachers anymore.
Oh, they better not.
It's bad. So, I mean, the ends don't justify the means. We're all paying the price for it.
Yeah, I feel you. I hear you. And that's what I say. You got to look at the means. And then, the end might be great and everything, but you got to look at the means. How they got there? How did you get here? You know what I'm saying? How did you get here?
Every man for themselves never worked, and it doesn't work today.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, we all in this together, whether we want to be or not.
Amen. I'm getting some kind of an echo in my... Are you getting the echo, Debbie?
No.
In your headphones?
I hear like a man's voice.
Yeah, that's me. It's like my own voice coming back at me or something. It's all good, though. I'm going to switch gears right now, though. I'm going to get on this urban fanatic thing. You feel me? Because I want to talk about that for a minute. First of all, let me define what a fanatic is. A person with an extreme and uncritical enthusiasm or zeal, as in religion or politics. An enthusiast, a zealot, a bigot, a hothead, a militant, a devotee. Person showing more than an ordinary support for, adherence to, or an interest in a cause, a point of view, or activity. A fanatic and zealot, both suggest excessive or overweening devotion to a cause or belief or to a person. This overweening devotion to a person. And that's what the fanatic is. And then you have the devotee, a person who is greatly devoted to something or a person who is extremely devoted to a religion or something, a follower or a person, an enthusiastic follower or fan, that you call them a devotee.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just this past week, a couple of my Facebook friends, they were saying that people should make the call to Minister Farrakhan, Minister Louis Farrakhan, in order to have him open up a dialogue across the nation about blacks separating from whites and getting their own thing going. Like, you give us a few states, we move into those states, and et cetera, and it'd be a black nation. And then white folks can have the rest of the nation, and we just live separate rather than, keep going back and forth with all these battles and et cetera, and all this, racism and stuff going on, right?
And this Facebook friend?
Yeah, this is what the Facebook friend was saying. Farrakhan, he was saying that people should email a message to Farrakhan saying, make the call, okay? And like, Farrakhan is the man who can make the call. Right. I disagreed, because I was like, I was like this. I was like, Farrakhan is, he's just a minister, just like the rest of the ministers. He's a typical, he has a church, okay? His church is Islamic and his God is Allah, but he still runs a church, just like the Baptists or the Pentecostals or whatever, okay? They probably it's probably non-profit and everything else going on. His church, just like the rest of the churches, okay? You see the nation, the urban areas torn apart. You see the murder levels, the guys going to prison. You see the education system shot, this, that, and the other. Well, that same type of deal is going on in Chicago, where the headquarters of the Nation of Islam is, and Farrakhan and his church. Okay, so this person would always talk about the ministers and the preachers and the politicians and how they're not doing what should be done and how they have murder in their minds, and that's why the cities and everything are all messed up, because the people are following their lead and they're full of murder. Okay, but you look at Chicago, and Chicago is in the same condition. This is where
the whole country is like
This is where the Nation of Islam is headquartered. Right. This is where they have their big mosque, One Iam, and the temples and everything. And Farrakhan is a big minister there, headquartered there, and everything. And one weekend in Chicago, 19 people were shot in a weekend.
Wow.
Okay. And numbers like that continue to go on throughout Chicago over the weekends and stuff like that. So why Farrakhan? Okay. That's what I was asking.
Well, because I always say, people be like, well, Farrakhan is Farrakhan is. I'm like, man, do you see Farrakhan out there while he peddling bananas, feeding the homeless? Do you see any headlines like that saying, well, Farrakhan opened up his church and they decided to feed some homeless people?
Yeah.
They decided to do something, get some kids some shoes, get back to the... You don't hear no stories like that.
No, I'm going to tell you what I said. What I said was this, that Farrakhan, very much like the other ministers, you look at T.D. Jakes, you look at Freddie Price, you look at Joel Osteen.
And don't forget our Eddie Long.
Pastor Eddie Long.
Eddie Long now.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm gonna get on him in a minute. but Pastor Eddie Long, I'm just saying, these guys drive around. Some of them drive around in Bentleys.
Oh, he got a couple of them.
They have Bentleys. They wear $5,000 suits. Okay, they wear $600 shoes. $1,000, $1,700 on the Gator shoes. They wear pimp color clothes and everything. They don't wear, you never see any of them in button-up shirts and everything. They got cufflinks on, with diamonds in the cufflinks and everything, and I'm saying this, the Farrakhan lives like a millionaire.
Well, he is a millionaire.
He is a millionaire. Yeah. As far as, being the head of the Nation of Islam, and he calls himself a head of state, I mean, he might be sucking a whole bunch of people in with that, and this, that, and the other, but I'm saying that he is doing the same thing that T.D. Jakes does, that Freddie Price, Eddie Long, and the rest of them, they're basically poverty pimps, okay? Right. They come into the community. They offer God this, that, and the other, and all kinds of favors from God. If you come here and you bring this much of money, if you donate to this cause, if you do this, do that, and then you see how they live. They live high on the hog and everything. Right. And I'm not saying I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that Farrakhan says. And that, the message that he's putting out when he's talking about the United States government and some of the wickedness that they do from the Pentagon and from the covert operations, et cetera. Just a minute. Have to hit my water.
Slow down.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah.
Wet your whistle a little bit.
To wet my whistle. I'm not saying I don't agree with what he's saying. And he preaches some good messages. He's got a lot of things that he says that I agree with, this, that, and the other. But that brother is not beyond me saying something about him and about what he's doing in the community. He preaches a good message. He's straightforward, this, that, and the other. But at the same time, he's a poverty pimp. He lives like a millionaire. He takes money in from poor people in the community. As a matter of fact, his whole thing is driven by money from the community because white folks and et cetera won't support him, with the stuff he be saying. Okay? Right. So he got to get it right out of the community, bottom level, from his Nation of Islam followers and from the streets of the urban America. By selling his final call, selling his fruit, asking for donations, selling tickets to different conventions or whatever, selling DVDs. Same thing that T.D. Jakes and all the rest of them do. Sell DVDs, tapes of their speeches. He might be collecting speaking fees when he goes to universities and different things like that. Right. But anyway, he's drawing money into the Nation of Islam. And I guess for the money that he draws into the Nation of Islam, he receives, a good living and a good stipend. You understand? Just like, let's say, what's his name? Jimmy Swaggart at one point, I think he was pulling in $150 million a year, as a televangelist, and he lived a good lifestyle based on the amount of money that he was pulling in for the ministries that he worked for. The Assemblies of God, that's what they call themselves. Him and Jim Baker and some other ministers. were all in this organization called the Assemblies of God. But, you know, if they're able to pull in that kind of money, then they're paid well. You understand?
Yeah.
So I'm saying that Farrakhan is not beyond.
And he's not exempt. I mean, you know, everybody.
He's not exempt from criticism. But guess what?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
When I did criticize Farrakhan on Facebook, they started deleting my posts. Okay, so I asked, why are you deleting my posts? You know what I'm saying? Because I said I put some constructive criticism down about Farrakhan. Why would you delete my posts?
Right.
You know, don't you agree with freedom of speech and et cetera?
Right.
And you know, when there's a button down at the bottom that says comment after you post something,
right,
that means that I can comment with my ideas and my thoughts. It doesn't mean that I have to agree or put down a nice comment about something that you posted.
Right.
You know, it means I comment either up or down or neutral. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to me and my ideas, and then somebody else will comment, and it'll be different probably, you know, based on what they think.
Well, those people have controlling ways, obviously, because they don't understand what the word comment means.
I guess not, but they started erasing my comments, and then I asked why they were erasing my comments, and they said, well, if you say something about the minister, it's the same thing as if you talked about my wife. Okay?
Well, maybe you should have talked about his wife then.
No, I don't want to talk about his wife.
And maybe, I don't know, you know, to each his own with that, you know, religion and stuff, and that's the subject that it's really hard to even get into because it's an endless situation. And like you said, it's fanatical. And people are not just fanatical about religion. They're fanatical about all kinds of things, sports.
Yeah.
You know, and no matter what you say, whatever they're hooked on it. And so when you say something against it, they're coming for you. You know, they're going to come for you. And not to say that it makes any sense. It's just the way they feel for whatever reason, you know, but you're right. I mean, this is a social website. If we want to talk, we can talk. If you don't want to listen, then you don't listen, you know. I mean, if you have to have respect, right? You know, that's what you have to have. You need to have respect for one another. Well, I don't have to agree with you, and you don't have to agree with me. You know,
I'm about honest conversation. You know, I'm not going to just rub you the right way because you want to be rubbed the right way.
So you wouldn't stroke their egos?
I'm not going to stroke your ego. I'm going to give you my best advice.
You got a lot of people are not honest. They just want you to go with what they think works.
Exactly.
My thing is, if I believe in something and I know it to be true and I'm comfortable with it, that's really all that matters. I will share it with you if you're interested. If you're not, then fine.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, that's the thing about being, you know, fanatical. I'm not really against anybody. I've heard Farrakhan speak on many occasions, and he says some very powerful, very inspiring, uplifting things.
Right.
He said some things. I went one time to years ago, God, this probably had to be back in the 90s, when he did a speech on Mother's Day. And he talked about women, and he talked about the universe, and he tied it. You know, I don't know how he's painted in the world or in this country as a racist, but he had anything to say. The things he said really inspired me, and it really enlightened me about me as a woman. Yeah. So, you know, I look at the good in people. I'm sure we can always find the bad in somebody if we really want to find it, because we all got some of it in there, especially coming in a country like this one. You're going to have it because these are the people who govern you. They have bad habits, and they're wicked, and they do rotten things. And so everything that they give you is no good. So I might have some no good in me, but I'm trying to dig my way and help my children and grands dig their way up out of this with a different perspective. And the main thing is just to be yourself, be honest, have integrity, you know, care, love humanity. Let that be important to you. Put that as a priority. You know, all this stuff about me, myself, and I never liked that. I knew that was headed for nothing but disaster. You know, it never works in anything. I mean, you can go back as far as you can go back as history is recorded. You'll never see where it was successful, where it was just one or two people. It never works.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, people to their opinions, but you have to be respectful about who you're talking to and what you're talking about. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to listen to it. And
it just made me like, it makes you feel bad because you don't really want to get into, a bad argument or some kind of nasty conversation with people who you have befriended and everything, but if you be honest and say something constructive, it was constructive criticism, then these people, these devotees and etc. will turn on you.
But anybody can claim to be whatever. See, that's the thing,
Yeah.
When you say befriend, who are you befriending? Who are they? Are they somebody worthy to be your friend? Are they friend worthy? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't know. You don't know these people.
Not like that. I don't think they would be on the internet. I mean, if a person don't want you to have your own opinion, first of all, they sound like they're too controlling. And do you really want a friend like that you just met?
But okay, well, let me read a little bit right here and just say a few things. First of all, let me say this though: you're listening to Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I am your host, One Iam, and I got my co-host, Miss Debbie here. And we're on the phone with Sarah Connor and Dee Eastman.
Good evening.
They're down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, we in the
ATL.
ATL, and me and Miss Debbie, we in Detroit, Michigan. This how we doing it. This how we do it at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. We hook up from Atlanta to Detroit. You can call me from Australia and get in on this too if you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
From different places across
worldwide.
Yeah, Canada.
Okay? You feel me? Listener supported.
Mexico.
Yeah, listener supported radio. So hit that donate button. Keep us on the air. Okay. And I'm gonna read a few things here and just let y'all know where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to attack Farrakhan like, oh, you can't attack Farrakhan. Farrakhan. One guy even called me a Judas. He tried to label me like they labeled Malcolm X.
What?
A Judas, which means that now you can come after this guy because he's against the Nation of Islam. He's a Judas like Malcolm X. Okay? Whatever. Okay?
Here's the thing about that. It's just really in talk radio, everybody has their own opinion and their own personal feelings based on their background and their life experiences.
Yeah.
So to get emotional and all upset and take things personal, that part I don't understand. And to see you as like this, as far as the name calling goes, it makes me wonder why a person would get so offensive. Why are they so?
Well, you have these devotees and these fanatics about a person.
Yeah.
Where you cannot say anything, even constructive criticism. You even have, if you go to the Islamic religion and you say something about the Prophet Muhammad or whatever, you could be murdered, right out murdered. And, they put a fatwa out on you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you did this, you did that, as if that person is beyond any kind of reproach or you just can't say anything negative about it. They put him on such a high pedestal.
And that's a big mistake that we all make. They did it with Eddie Long. Look what he did to all them boys down there.
Eddie Long, but guess what? Eddie Long's church is still full of devotees.
And you know what? They don't want to hear anything.
They don't want to hear anything about how he freaked them boys down there.
How he ruined their lives.
And how he freaked them, and then he gave them millions of dollars in order to keep quiet about it.
He sure did. Speak nothing about his wife.
And he's still right going to the pulpit.
And that goes to show you how sick we are.
Bring me money. Bring me money.
This is what I think about that. I think that some people are so misled from childhood, and they're taught to believe in something from childhood, from birth.
Yeah.
And so when they believe in that and they've been following it their whole lives and they become an adult, and then finally something happens, especially like in cases with Bishop Eddie Long.
Yeah.
Their whole entire faith, their belief system is ripped right from under them, and then they have nowhere else to go. So they're then on unfamiliar ground. and they don't know if this is not what I'm supposed to believe in, if this is not what I'm supposed to be faithful to, then what do I do?
You're lost.
And they're completely lost, and it's a very scary place for them to be, because then they realize, okay, if this is not what is real, then my whole life and everything I believe in is a lie.
So you take 5 young men and you say, "You liars."
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah. When their faith has been shooken, that's what they do instead of searching for a different answer. Right. Instead of searching for an explanation. But
look, I don't know about you guys, what you're getting up there. What do your eyes and your ears tell you? Okay, let's say the boys hadn't come forward. I mean, well, they had to come forward for us to hear about this, but let's say they didn't go in depth, because some of them are writing books and they declined on the money that they were offering, the settlement and that kind of thing, because they're very, they sound like they're very disgusted.
They want to get their story out.
Yeah, they want to get the story out. But listen to this. They're showing, when all this story broke, and this is one of many, but they were showing pictures of Bishop Eddie Long in the bathroom, this leg up on the tub, taking pictures with this jerry curl and this spandex on and a tank top.
And sending them to guys.
And sending them to guys. I mean, okay, even if you didn't like that and you heard these rumors, how in the world do you see these things? Right. And at this point still feel like he did nothing? Or whatever he did is, I'm not going to say he's not forgivable.
I tell you what, he had a nice tub. I think that tub had jets in it, and he had marble floors and everything up in there.
He sure did. That was a very nice bathroom.
Very nice. He's spending the parishioners' money properly.
It's just like to me, when you go into a church where it's like a large church.
A mega church?
Yeah, it's like a cult.
Have a lot of mega churches.
It's like a cult, you say.
It's like a cult to me.
It's like a cult now.
This minister here, he's 39 years old. Now, and don't get me wrong, grew up where if I'm going to go to a church, I want the pastor to at least know my name. When he shake my hand, he should be able to say, "Hey, Sister Debbie, how are you?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this particular church is called Triumph Church here in Detroit. And it's Pastor Solomon Kinchlow Jr. He's approximately 39 years old. He has 6 worship opportunities for you on a Sunday. At the East Campus, he has a 7 a.m. and 11:45 a.m. At the West Campus, he has a 9:45 a.m. At the North Campus, he has an 8:45, a 10:45, and a 2:45
worship service.
They have something basically looks like every day of the week. I mean, he has some good programs, and he does have other ministers. But it's like, okay, we got a weekend ceremony tours, we got bus tours. After a while, he'll even be syndicated, so you'll be able to listen to him on the internet.
What you're saying they all have, though. They all have. I'm not saying they ripping you off completely. You're not getting nothing for your money. You are getting something for your money. They have programs and everything that they do. Some of them open up a gym and stuff. They build these big buildings. They have daycare centers. Some of them even have their own schools for the children and everything. And they do offer money and help to the needy and different things like that. But at the same time, the head of that church and that organization lives like a millionaire.
Right. But, he has, our reason why I say this is every third Saturday, every third month, he has a program for women. And it's gotten to the point where it's like this past Saturday, it was like 6,000 women there that get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and be at this service.
6,000 women.
It was 6,000 women in Cobo Hall. They come down, include me. It was good. It was a good program.
Okay, if you can get them all to give $10, what you got?
Huh?
If you can get them all to get $10, what you got?
Right.
That's a whole lot of money.
That's what I'm saying.
What did you witness down there, Debbie? Out of the, it was 6,000 women. What happened down there?
Okay, really, it's a good program. He speaks very well. But the part that really disappointed me was, after they have one entertainment big artist to come in. It was CeCe Winans this time. It was supposed to be Mary in August, and then in November it'll be I forgot her name, but anyway, this part that disappointed me was the service was great, the message was great because it was before Mother's Day, and it was geared toward women being in control and being the head of the household. And it's a peaceful service that there's no type of nothing. And, it kind of makes you wonder if you could get 6,000 women to come together to do this. How come we can't get 6,000 women to come together to save our children? But I guess church is like a cult, because it wouldn't be a type of church that I would want to go to. You understand? Because he would never know my name because of all the services and all the.
No, they have junior pastors and different things like that. And
but if I go to a church, I want to be known by the man. But
you got to make an appointment to see this guy.
Right, but I'm saying if he gonna be at the end, I want him to be able to shake my hand and know who I am. But at the end, towards the end, when it got there, he gonna say, "Now," and I know that most churches is a tax write-off. They get a tax write-off, and they don't really pay for a lot of stuff. So I can't even imagine that Coble Hall is paying him a lot of money. No, they don't charge you to come to the program or anything.
Right.
But he got it to the end after he preached, and I think this is like the sermon killer for me. How many people in here enjoyed my services so much today? This is the first time he ever said this, and I've been going now for almost 2 years to this program on Saturdays. Every 3 months on a Saturday at 6 a.m. How many people in here can give at least $100? I need all the people that's going to give me $100 to stand up.
Yeah. Did he asked y'all for money?
Usually be.
Oh, they start at 100, and then if you can't give 100,
it's a free will donation. But this Saturday,
they start at 100, and if you can't give 100, they'll go down to 50. Well, who can give me 50? Okay, then they get down to 10, 20, and then when they finally get down to the end of begging, they say, "Everybody take out $1 in your hand and hold that dollar in the air," and then they send the man around to get that last dollar that you got.
Well, they give you envelopes anyway. But
oh, you get an envelope?
Yeah, you get
great.
But it was just so discouraging because up to now it had just been a free will donation. Nobody put on the spot. But then he goes, well, people that can give $100 stand up, wave your hands in the air, da 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 da. Okay, so enough people to stand up. He's like, okay, well, I can't get nobody for 100. Can I get somebody for 50? I'm like, yeah, take it away from the service. And then he goes, well, these services aren't cheap. First of all, you come in here, all you doing is reading Coble Hall. You're not feeding us. Coble Hall is giving you probably a write-off because you are a tax organization. You understand what I'm saying?
Tax-free, you saying?
Tax-free. And
they probably got bills to pay for for renting Coble Hall, this, that, and the other.
Not big bills, though.
But, let me tell you the problem I have because we have inspirational speakers that you buy tickets and go here to uplift you if you need to be uplifted. Whether it be for money, teaching you about the money markets and the system and financial things, or whether it just be teaching you business and stock and that kind of thing. They have a lot of great inspirational and financial advisors out here that you can pay tickets to go to.
Yeah.
So if that's what you're looking for, you can go there. But when you're talking about a person who claims they've been ordained by God, the universe, the sun and the moon, and they've given you this thing to share
you almost
open up the minds of the people. Yeah, I know lights are.
You almost ask why you got to ask me for some money.
Yeah, why are you asking me?
If you've been ordained by God, God got you doing all this. Why he hooking you up?
Yeah, why he hooking you up? And then when my stuff is not together and I'm in trouble and I need legal fees and my lights and gas and this and that, I'm in a dilemma. I can't come to you and say, hey, can y'all help me out?
Right.
But I'm supposed to help you out. You're a person of God. You're a person to not just inspire me. You're a person to help me build and change my situation.
Poverty pimp. That's what I'm trying to
You're supposed to help me. So this is the problem that I have with this religion. And people say, Farrakhan said this one time in the speech I heard a long time ago, which I totally agree. People can take whatever they want. When you got a people of God, and people know who the people of God are. Yeah. And when you take it, it's like a fisherman going to fish. Or robber, you're going to give them what they need. You're going to solicit to them what they like. Right. If you know I'm a person of God, just by my nature, then what are you going to feed me if you're trying to rob me?
God.
You're going to give me God. You see what I'm saying? That don't make you a person of God. that just make you a person, you're a scam artist or a flim flam man.
Like they say in the Bible, wherever the carcass is, there will the eagles be. Wherever the carcass is, dead body, when it's there, the eagles gonna feed off of it.
But the thing, and this is largely, I think the problem is people hear that word and they see these clothes and they see these images and they connect them with some kind of success or some kind of
like God really is behind it. But it's not God, it's your money.
Yeah.
That's got
Bush got that. I mean, if you're gonna bow down to that, you can bow down to a lot of wealthy slime balls. And I'm not referring to Farrakhan or any of these people as slime balls. What I'm saying is that, I mean, how do you differentiate between the two when the results are the same?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
No, results are the same. And let me get into this right quick, because I just want to tell you this. Malcolm X, remember Malcolm X?
Yeah. Okay.
He said his reason for leaving the Nation of Islam was that Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which the Nation of Islam said, had fathered 8 children.
Right. I remember. 6
different teenage girls in the Nation of Islam. He was married to somebody named Clara or something like that. But he had fathered 8 children with 6 different teenage girls inside the Nation of Islam. And he wasn't really taking care of his kids. You know, the kids that he had fathered.
Yeah, I remember.
With these young girls and et cetera. They were kind of like on their own, struggling and stuff like that. And when Malcolm X found that out, he was broken.
Devastated.
He was devastated.
Everything that he believed.
Yeah.
Anybody who believed in Eddie Long or any other person.
But at least he had the integrity to leave. And he didn't say nothing. He didn't try to bust him down and everything. He just said, I'm out. You know, because it ain't what I thought it was.
You know why? Because he wasn't following Elijah Muhammad. He was following the message of Elijah Muhammad.
Exactly.
And when a person follows the message of Christianity, they don't get caught up with an Eddie Long. You understand?
Okay. Well, check this out. You got Elijah Muhammad. He's a sexual predator, basically, on the young teenage girls and everything. You know, he's an old man. I'm telling you, I'm 55.
It went against his teachings, and then
I love to run through a whole bunch of 25-year-olds and everything, and you know, just have my way with a whole bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? As many as I want.
But see, that's the problem. See what the problem is with this? If you, as an individual, decide this is life you want to lead, and this is how you live your life, nobody cares.
Right.
But when you proclaim that you are this leader of this nation and bring these people from the dirt up, and you got these principles that you stand on, and this is the way it's got to be, no matter what, and you find out that you, the one has been taught me, is doing all these ugly things, that's where the problem comes in.
Okay.
Then people care.
This is what I'm saying. Malcolm X found that out, that Elijah Muhammad was a sexual predator. He wasn't taking care of his children and et cetera. He was an adulterer. These are all things you're supposed to be kicked out of the Nation of Islam for adultery and being a sexual predator and everything like that.
Right.
But here's the leader. He's doing these things. Malcolm X left. Instead of Farrakhan leaving right along with Malcolm X, what did Farrakhan do? He started talking about what a traitor Malcolm X was,
right,
and how he was worthy of death and everything for turning his back on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Right.
Okay, and this, that, and the other. You know, they try to burn Elijah Muhammad out of his house and everything. Okay, and then finally, when they get him in the Audubon Auditorium, and black guys, Nation of Islam, ends up shooting Malcolm X to death.
Right.
Okay. Farrakhan, in one speech, he said, whose business is it that we dealt with a traitor? You know, he was a traitor. He was our traitor. And we dealt with whose business? What do you care if we dealt with a traitor the way a nation deal with a traitor?
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like they handled their problem.
Right.
Okay.
And he was their problem.
Yeah.
He became their problem.
Well, the only reason why he came out was because they kept attacking him and trying to burn him out and everything. And he finally came on the news and said, well, maybe if I just tell the reason why I left, then they'll leave me alone and be out there in the public. You understand?
Right.
But I'm just saying that was wrong for Minister Farrakhan to turn on Malcolm X like that when really he should have been turning on Elijah Muhammad like that in that manner.
As a righteous man. I hear what you're saying.
You know what you're doing with these young girls, with these teenagers here.
Or maybe he was doing it too.
Maybe so. I don't know. But New York, May the 10th, Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan admits his complicity in the 1965 murder of Malcolm X while seated across the table from the civil rights leader's oldest daughter in a 60-minute interview to be broadcast on May the 14th. And this is an old article where he got together with Adela Shabazz, one of Malcolm X's daughter, and she issued a statement thanking Farrakhan for acknowledging his role. He acknowledged his role by saying that, you know, he contributed to the environment in which Malcolm X was killed by saying he was worthy of death, by calling him a traitor, by doing this and that, doing this. But it probably goes further than that. It probably had private meetings, this, that, and they decided that, yeah, we need to get rid of Malcolm X. But of course, no, he will only admit so much, because when you get to a certain point, you can't say, I ordered to hit on Malcolm X.
Absolutely not, and not still have a following.
And not still be free, a free man.
Yeah.
You're going to be locked up. You know what I'm saying? So he always goes as far as to say, I contributed to that environment, you know, that, and the FBI probably got him. But like Malcolm X's daughter said, you can't keep pointing fingers like the FBI got. She said, my father was not killed from a grassy knoll. You know, black men pulled the trigger. Okay? Nation of Islam members, etc., pulled the trigger on her father, Malcolm X. So, you know, that's one thing I can say. You know, you can say, forget it. You know, it's over, this, that, and the other. Let's move on, brother. Don't say anything about that. Whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying something about it.
Yeah, you gotta say something
I haven't forgot about it. And like I said, I like a lot of things what Farrakhan said. But guess what? Farrakhan, after Malcolm X was killed, he was the man. He was the man. After Malcolm was removed, he was the man. He was the minister that took over and everything. And he moved up into this position where he is now. And I'm telling you again, the end does not justify the means.
Yeah, okay? I'm sure he knew he was going to be the man before Malcolm was removed.
Amen, and that's what I'm saying. I'll tell you another story. Let me tell you this story right here. In November 1987, a deputy sheriff was dispatched to an apartment building in Dutchess County, upstate New York. There, a resident of the building led him to a large plastic garbage bag that contained a seemingly unconscious Tawana Brawley. Brawley's body was smeared with feces. Her clothes were torn, the crotch were burned away from her jeans, and she was not wearing a bra or underwear. An ambulance was dispatched, and Brawley was taken to the hospital. When her clothes were removed, the markings were stark and unambiguous. The words nigger, bitch, and KKK were scrawled on Brawley's torso in black charcoal. The sheriff's office, sensing that they were in over their heads, called the FBI to report a likely civil rights violation. Doctors examined Brawley for injuries and evidence of rape. They found neither. Brawley could not or refused to speak to hospital staff and detectives about what happened. Eventually communicating by nodding and shaking her head, she indicated that she had been raped by several men. Then came the bombshell. When asked if she could identify the attackers, the silent Brawley scrawled two words on a piece of paper: white cop. That's what she wrote on the paper.
Oh.
And I don't know whether you remember the Tawana Brawley case. This was like in '87 and everything.
Yeah, I do.
Where she claimed to have been raped and everything.
Yeah.
And viciously raped by a police and a prosecutor. His name was Stephen Bagonis or something like that, the prosecutor. And anyway, Al Sharpton, Alton Maddox and C. Vernon Mason. They all took this story. It was all over the Phil Donahue show. It was all on Morton Downey Jr. and everything. Stephen Bagonis was the guy who she said had raped her. He was in the area that night of where she was found and everything. But anyway, a grand jury found no evidence of wrongdoing and concluded that the whole affair was probably a hoax. You know, they looked into it and everything. They looked for evidence and everything. Never could find any evidence of anything. You know, I'm not saying she wasn't raped. I don't know. You know, I'm saying the grand jury didn't find anything. Okay. Anyway, Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan, he vowed, you know, in his speeches and everything, he vowed vengeance on Brawley's attackers.
Yep.
He said, "You raped my daughter, and I will kill you and dismember your body and feed it to the fowl of the air."
Yep.
This is what he said he was going to do to the 6 men
I remember that
raped Tarana Brawley. You know, he said in a speech. Okay, maybe more than one speech, more than one.
I remember one of them speeches.
I remember publicly. You know what he was saying. You know, we were all like into this case. You know, this Tawana Brawley case. Maybe it was a hoax, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But I know that's what Minister Farrakhan said. To this day, they still claim that Tawana Brawley was raped, the Nation of Islam. And so does Al Sharpton and everybody else that were on her side and everything. You know, even though nothing became of the case. But I tell you another thing, that nothing became of any rapists that supposedly did anything to Tawana Brawley. And I'm going to tell you, when you were like a head of a Nation of Islam and all of this kind of stuff, and you come out and you say, this is what's going to happen. You know, we're going to get you guys. We're going to kill you and dismember you and feed your bodies to the fowl of the air. Guess what? If you want some credibility, you got to do it.
You got to do it.
You got to do it.
Man up.
Okay? Didn't happen. As far as I know, I don't have any Bagonis. As a matter of fact, he sued Al Sharpton and all the rest of them and started taking money out of Al Sharpton's check and everything, garnishee. Yeah, one of the rapists, supposedly the alleged rapist. You know what I'm saying? So Farrakhan didn't make good on that. You know, I mean, I'm just saying.
Right.
And I'm not trying to upset anybody, you know, or like Farrakhan is your God. You know what I'm saying? He ain't my God. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And I'm looking at him.
And I think that's the problem, too. You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a label, which I call myself. When I say that, I mean, I don't think I'm a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist or any of those things. I have people I know. I won't call them friends, but there are people I know who are close to me who practice these things. Yeah. And when I look at the origin of these things, and I grew up a Christian, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I mean, that's all you're going to be raised up in.
Yeah, exactly.
My grandfather was a minister. He had his own church bus, and that's how it was.
Right.
But as I got older, you know, you see things, you hear things. And if you're a person who's the truth seeker and just want the truth, you don't want the theatrics and the glam, you know, you just want to be saved. You want to be on the right side if it's such a thing.
Right.
You want to be there.
But you know what? That thing about truth is, you know, even when they present it to you as this is the truth, the Christianity, this, that, and the other, you got to keep digging. You got to, when you get the answers, you got to question the answers.
You got to question it. But that's where I'm going. I don't have, I'm at a whole different, I mean, I'm a grandmother now. I'm at a whole different place in myself with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is my own personal opinion and my own personal views and my own understanding from my own journey. So people out there, please, you know, don't make any comments about this, that, and the other. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. And what I'm saying is that I've learned from my own journey is that Christianity and Islam and Buddhism, and I have friends who are Rastas, when I dig and talk to them about what it is that they are involved in, and it's about, all of it is the same. What I've learned is that it is the same, meaning it's the same. It's a thing of principle. It's a thing of compassion and love, and it's unity and respect. These are the teachings of these things, of these orders.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, I think now people take these orders that they don't know a whole lot about, and they let these people say they're leaders of these orders and say this is what it is. And then what they do is a disservice to it. And then you go, oh, that Islam, that stuff is no good. Oh, that Christianity, that stuff is no good. Oh, that Buddhism, that's a bunch of crap. You know what I'm saying? Because you're following this individual just like yourself. They have to find their way like you have to find your way. And whatever reason you believe they know more than you, I don't know where that comes from. I think probably because we're taught these things and these leaders. But
they're able to interpret better than you.
Well, that's what you're taught. I was taught the same thing. I'm ordained. Ordained by whom? Y'all go, you go to school. I can go to school. Something is set aside special for you, not for me. I mean, all that's debatable,
Right.
But it itself is not the order itself, Islam and Christianity and Buddhism, when you really dig to the core of it all, if people really want to know the truth, you will find that it's all of that, if it makes any sense, and it's none of that.
Yeah, and it's all man-made. Okay, caller 425, are you there?
Yes, One Iam. I'm right here.
How are you, my brother?
I'm doing okay.
You.
What's that?
I knew it was going to be you.
It's the hijacker.
Yeah, I got the heavy stuff, so...
Well, come on with it, brother. I want to hear it.
All right, well, this is for you, One Iam, and you, Debbie, and Sarah.
All right.
For all three of you.
What about
me?
D. Eastman, she say she wanted to.
Right, so I've been gaming this thing out of, like, if the power were to go off for a solar flare, or... the money crashes. I mean, a real Great Depression, or terrorist incident. A bomb goes off in a city.
Yeah.
But anyways, when the power goes out, when everything stops, I keep on looking over the board, and one thing I can't get over is I think there's going to be a race war, and I wanted to get your opinion. If the rubber, if the shit hits the fan, do you all think, from a black perspective, will it naturally trip into sort of a tribal race wars, or that much anger and hate on both sides that could happen?
Well, what was his name?
Hijacker.
Are you? What nationality are you?
Oh, I'm just a white boy.
You who way?
He's just the white boy.
He's just a white boy.
Okay, the reason.
Are you a dirty white boy, or are you just a white boy?
The reason I'm asking that is because I want to ask you the same question before. I mean, there's a reason you asked that question. How do you feel as a white person in America? Do you feel that if the lights go out, it will be? Are you feeling some tension and anger among black people, or what are you saying? I don't understand. I grew up in boarding schools and a real rough childhood, and also grew up in the South. Mm-hmm. Had to work a lot of menial jobs because of the politics that I was in. I'd run across a particular powers tree in a county or whatever would give me a good beating. So, whatever kind of work I got, they got behind the line. This was before even such thing as gang stalking. So anyways, I've had to deal with a lot of blacks from formative years all the way up. Mm-hmm. And you had to deal with them?
You had to deal with them.
Oh, right. Other words, because one thing I noticed, the one thing I noticed is that, especially among the more or less educated and poor, they have intense anger towards whites, and I found it almost universal. Until I would make friends with one, and then they would just be like people, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. But I'm just wondering, will that anger splash over?
Hi, Jack. Let me tell you, if the lights go off, I'm going to have to bust a cap on some Negroes around here. You feel me? It ain't about no white, black thing, man. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm thinking like in prison where you everybody drops into fight or flight, that reptilian part of our brain, and so that'll go tribalism. And I don't
have there ain't a whole bunch of white folks around here that's gonna mess with me if the lights go off. But I tell you what, it's a whole bunch of Negroes that will, because they're messing with you right now, and the lights is on.
Now, let me ask Hijacker, what do you mean by tribal? They're going to go tribal on you. What do you mean? And are you referring to black people? And are you suggesting that white people are not just as angry about being poor and ignorant and raggedy and out of doors as black people? What? I don't understand.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that black people have been trained that it's all the white man's fault, and it's ingrained in them. It's whereas the white people, they haven't been trained that it's black people's fault.
And you know what I mean? You gonna go bola bola bola.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would be part of the white tribe. I wouldn't have a choice, like my uncle said.
When it comes down to the lights going out and the water being cut off, all black people revert back to bola bola, rolla bola.
No, everybody does. Everybody,
and we go after white folks. You feel me? I hear you, Hijacker. I hear you.
What do you think? What do you think's going to happen?
It's going to be a war. Everybody, not just black, not just white. It's just going to be a war, man, because everybody's going to be a fight for survival.
It'll get nasty. It'll get nasty, and then naturally you're going to have like the government and the army and everything come in and try to bring back the rule of law and everything, and that's where you might get into different battles and everything with the authorities and etc. But I don't think I'm not looking to shoot any white people or anything like that per se.
I really think it's going to be people against the authorities, and everybody's going to have to team up together, regardless of race. We're gonna come to a point where we see that we need each other, point blank, period. And
authorities, because they are already demolishing themselves and diminishing, especially when you're like in a neighborhood like ours.
You'd be surprised.
Where the authorities come over here and I'm going to tell you this story, for instance, and this is no pun intended, but yesterday, a house that had been locked up had a great chain on the gate, everything, modern lock. The guy was out there sludge hammering it. So the security guard seen him when he rode past, right? So he goes and he sits on another corner and he calls the police. The police come out and sit on a totally opposite corner and watch them just loading the radiators into the car, right?
Into the back of the truck.
Into the back of the truck. Instead of the opportunity to pull up on these people and block the fence so they couldn't get out, right? They waited till they pulled out, and then they want to go into pursuing the chase, okay? First of all, you're in a residential neighborhood. So the thing is that they're in the commission of a crime. Why wouldn't you go and stop? These police officers are so weak now till we won't even have to worry about it.
Well, they wanted to catch them red-handed with the goods in the back of the truck.
They already had some in the back of the truck.
But the thing is this, when they took off and they started going, then the radiators started falling. These big, heavy radiators started sliding out of the back of the truck, as they hitting the gas and everything. And the cops are following them. So you got these radiators falling in front of the police car.
There was only 2 radiators, and they fell in the yard.
Well, they decided, look, we're not going to chase them because the radiators, when you hit one of them radiators, ain't no telling what your car's going to do.
Oh, right.
While you chasing the truck.
Let me tell you this. The radiators, the dude down there said the radiators fell in the yard. They didn't pull back, still backed out the yard. They still got a chance to get it. But the point is, the whole moral to the story is this. They could have blocked that fence.
Yeah.
And they would have never got out.
And how does this story tie into what Hijacker is talking about?
Because he said, they were saying, the police we're going to be fighting against the police. No, we're not going to be fighting against the police because guess what? They're going to run and hide. If anything break out where it's major, they're not coming out. They don't care. They scared.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm telling you, when my uncle was in 68, the riots in D.C., and I asked him about it, and I said, well, did you fight on the white side, or what did you do to protect your restaurant or whatever?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, let me put it this way: when you see 600 black dudes coming down the street, you pick a side real quick. It doesn't matter. Those people could be your friends. Yeah. I mean, when the blacks mass and they come out of the cities into the suburban areas, good Lord, I mean, I don't see how we stop. A race war.
It's different than 68. This is 2012, and it's a different mentality. It's not completely different, but it has evolved since then. So I don't think it'll be the same.
Not only that, I got a lot of white women that love me.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, let me just put it to you like that.
Hi, Jack. Well, I don't know where you live, but in the inner cities, and you talk about war, we're at war every day. You know, bodies are going down every day. It's more bodies going down and people dying and losing their life. And there's so much tragedy than you see overseas in wars. I don't know about where you live, but this is a daily thing that we have to deal with all over this country in the inner cities. The numbers are just astounding.
Hi, Jack. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, well, so it's your opinion that it will trip into a race war?
No. I'm not saying it'll trip into a race war.
No. You said that it's going to be a race war, and what do you think is going to happen?
I'm not going bola bola.
It's going to be just a war.
I'm not going robo bola bola.
What I'm saying,
I'm going to be just a normal guy trying to protect my own and etc.
Right, but I'm saying for the younger blacks. I mean, what is it? Because it's been many years since
the younger blacks going to fall in line behind me. That's what's going to happen. They're going to start biting their fingernails, don't know what to do, and they're going to look for some older guys to tell them what's up. And I'll be here.
Right. And what about the Farrakhan's out there? I mean, a lot of those ministers and stuff, I mean, where will they mass up?
Farrakhan will hit a plane. He will jump in a plane and take off to some island paradise that he already has and, built up and everything.
I have a question.
He's not going to stay around for a war.
Now, I understand where you're coming from.
You feel me?
Hijacker, as far as asking this question, I'd like to know the answer as well. What do you think the Mitt Romneys and the Ron Pauls are going to do if there's a race war? Are they going to go bola bola?
Well, no, they'll go martial law, and they'll. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm trying to come up with a play to keep Obama in office. I think the more we keep Obama in office, the less likely is we do go into a martial law or false flag. And so the only thing I've come up with now is that if there is a solar flare, and the power goes out, and it looks like it's going to go into a race war, then what I'm thinking is that. And this is pretty evil thinking, okay? But this is what I do. I go up against this one world order. I got to think. I got to come up with solutions and what they'll do and counter moves. But what I'm thinking they're going to do is that they're going to send provocateurs into the inner cities, and they're going to burn those cities. That is going to force the black population to go to the FEMA camps, where then they can assemble basically a 10 million or 15 million man black army.
Okay.
So it could be the reverse.
This is all fantasy right now. I mean, everything you're saying is fantasy.
Until you get a solar flare, One Iam.
Yeah, until maybe you get a solar flare. They're happening right now, solar flares and different things. But the lights are still on. Everything's cool. Hijacker, I want to get back to my show, Hijacker.
Okay, well, I just wanted to run by you because I figured that you would know. I mean, so you're saying you don't think it'll go to a race war?
I'm saying if the lights go off, I'm going to have to worry about these Negroes around here.
If the lights go off, don't come around me because I'm going to have a gun.
I'm going to have to worry about these Negroes around here coming in to get my water, coming in to get my food, and everything else. I ain't worried about white folks out in the suburbs coming in here messing with me at all.
Oh, wow. You're talking about anarchy. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, One Iam. I just thought I had to check.
All right. Thank you, my brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
That's Hijacker. Maybe one of these days we'll do a whole show about what Hijacker is talking about.
Yeah.
What could possibly happen if the lights go off? When the lights went off in Georgia. That was the night that they killed an innocent man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing about these kind of shows is that, everybody has a different perspective about things, and it's good to know what they are because it may be foolishness and it may not, but it's something to think about, and it has you thinking.
I'm not saying it's foolishness.
No, I'm not saying it's foolishness, but what I'm saying is you do get that, but you should take it all in.
I mean, you got a large segment of the population and of the government and et cetera, that just thinks this democratic experiment is not working, and the founding fathers didn't really plan on this being the way it is, and they want to roll things back, and you don't really know how much control they do have until, they show their hand. So, they may show their hand, just like Hijacker was saying, and then we got to do what we got to do, and whatever happens, happens. That's what I'm saying. But I know if the lights went out around here, basically, I don't have to worry about Ray and Pookie.
And let me say this. I don't know where Hijacker lived, but if he lived in a predominantly white community or, wherever he lives, if he went out, depending on their status, income-wise, he have to worry about the same thing.
Yeah, it's not if the lights go out, it's not going to be a race war. It's going to be just a war, period, for survival, no matter what color you are. If you get hungry, you're going to look for bread and water. I don't care who has it. They're going to be black, white, Puerto Rican, and Haitian. If they have it and I don't, and I need it, I'm going to get some.
Yeah, amen.
So that's how that goes. It's not about black or white. What are the blacks going to do? What are the whites going to do? It's it's human nature.
Right.
That's human nature.
Just in time, you want to check in on this?
One Iam, I am gaining more and more faith in you, brother.
Thank you so much.
I love the way you handled it. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
But that just goes to show you that this fear of whatever ethnic background isn't everybody.
Right.
And that's where we got to bury it. That's where I hope we will come together and say, you know what, we're all the same. We need to go against the man, not each other.
There you go.
I love you, brother. I'm getting more faith every day.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Keep it up, man.
Thank you. All right. Let me see. We got about 10 minutes, 12 minutes to go. This is Urban Revolution on Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com. And I was talking about devotees and fanatics, religious fanatics, and just people that's fanatic about a person. I had mentioned a couple of things that Farrakhan had done that I didn't appreciate. Like the attack on Malcolm X, and also the fact that he said he was going to destroy these men that raped Tawana Brawley and everything, and then disappeared into the woodwork like, nothing ever happened. Also, they give him big credit for the Million Man March. He was able to bring together 1 million men in Washington. But I remember when Farrakhan was saying that he was going to do the Million Man March, his whole thing was, I'm going to get 1 million men together, and we're going to Washington, D.C., and we're going to demand something from the politicians. We're going to demand that they give us reparations. They give us this. They give us that. You get 1 million men in Washington, you can pretty much do anything. You can pretty much do what you want to do. Okay, in Washington, D.C., right? And that's what he said he was doing. He was going to go to Washington, D.C. and make these demands. Now, by the time the Million Man March came around, it had turned into some kind of kumbaya affair where they had just a bunch of Negroes talking about go home and take care of your kids and take care of your women and all kind of stuff like that. They didn't make any demands on the politicians or nothing, and didn't get nothing out of the deal that I know of, unless they privately gave Farrakhan something, okay, with the Million Man March.
So what you're saying is he chickened out?
It sounds like he chickened out, because when he got there, he didn't.
That the fact I know what you're saying, and I agree with that in part because say what you're saying and do what you're gonna do, but that takes a lot of power and understanding of people to pull them together the way that he did.
Okay,
I mean that's a real big accomplishment. And let me say this before you say something else.
Okay.
I talked to a lot of people, men at that time who didn't know anything about him and didn't know anything about brotherhood and didn't care about it. It was me, myself, and I attitude. It changed them.
Okay.
So maybe it didn't go as far as as he said.
Let me say this. I don't know how it changed them. I know that everybody said it was a beautiful affair, and they got high off of the peace and the love and everything.
Right.
Almost like a Woodstock type thing in Washington, D.C. But check it out. 15, 16, 17 years later here, Black America has never had so many of our own in jail in terms of absolute numbers as a percentage of the overall population. We've seen more jobs, good jobs disappear. We've never been sicker than we are today. Right. We've experienced a wider income gap within our community. White folks got like 10, 100 times more wealth than we got, especially after they just got through gutting our houses and everything with the mortgage crisis and everything. And the material gains have been reversed over the last 15 years, including housing. Educational outcomes are terrible in the cities and everything. The widening representation in the trade unions. The unions ain't what they used to be and all this kind of stuff. 15, 17 years later, where are the results from the Million Man March in these cities and et cetera, and what happened in Washington, D.C. in 1995? Where's the results? It's the same madness in Chicago that's in Detroit, and that's in L.A. and different things like that, where Farrakhan is. Farrakhan been talking for decades.
Yeah.
I've been listening to him since I was a teenager. Okay? I love some of the stuff that he's saying, but he's talking just like other ministers and everything else.
Well, it is inspiring, and he does encourage people and give them hope. And what I'm saying is this. I'm not saying Farrakhan's have all answers. I'm not saying Farrakhan, the TDJs, anybody can fix this, because they can't. I don't believe they can. Although there are people out here that do, I know better than that. I know they can't fix this. But what I'm saying is that, every little bit helps. Right. And I see what you're saying.
I know what you're saying. But I'm just saying this. Why would you put Farrakhan on a pedestal where I can't even say nothing about him?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, please do.
Anybody. This is the problem, though. This is the problem. That's what I'm saying about religion. You shouldn't do that across the board with no one.
Right.
Because if you have faith in God or the universe or whatever you is that is bigger than yourself, then you know that a man next to you is not bigger than yourself.
Amen.
What you're looking for is in yourself, and that's what we.
He is not beyond constructive criticism. This is what
absolutely not. Here's the thing. I want to make a quick comment about my sister, my childhood friend. I've known her over 20 years. She is Muslim. She joined the Nation of Islam maybe 5-6 years ago, and ever since she joined, she's been very faithful and very devout. And I could not shake her faith. I would ask her questions, and she would come up sometimes and not have an answer for them, but she would not shake her faith. I've never seen someone so faithful. Do I believe in it? No, it's not my faith.
Yeah.
I believe in myself.
Right.
To each his own.
Right.
But I've never seen someone so faithful. And if I respect her for anything, it's for the fact that she does not waver in that faith. She believes what she believes. Yeah. Well, a situation came up where she was against really, really hard times. Yeah. And she was told that either she would have to stop involving herself, stop engaging in the rituals as far as covering your head.
She couldn't practice.
As far as the
she couldn't practice being a Muslim anymore.
She couldn't practice being a Muslim. So okay. I'm thinking, hands down, my sister's not going to go for that. She is not going to waver in her faith.
Right.
My sister left my house with her head unwrapped. She pressed her hair and put curls in it. And I found her prayer rug in a closet.
In a closet.
It broke my heart. Not because it's something I believe in, but the fact that something she believed in so strongly, she put it in a closet.
Yeah.
So for that, it just lets me know that what you say you believe in, you don't really believe in, because when you are up against hard times, you will put it in a closet. And I believe that as far as
you saw the apostles in the Bible, they stepped back from Jesus when they seen him getting torn apart and everything. They're like, whoa, I don't want a piece of that. I don't know the man. I don't know him. I wasn't with him.
Exactly. Once the heat gets turned up, they will put him in a closet.
Amen. But let me tell you this. In 2000, we got about 2 or 3 minutes left. Okay. But let me tell you, in 2008, Farrakhan was saying that Obama is, the Messiah is absolutely speaking when Obama speaks. He's saying Obama is the Messiah. Addressing a large crowd on the podium February 24th, Nation of Islam Savior's Day 2008. He was saying Barack has captured the youth. You know, he's involved with young people in the political process. And that's a sign. When the Messiah speaks, the youth will hear. And the Messiah is absolutely speaking. He also said that, like Farad Muhammad from the Nation of Islam, the one who founded the Nation of Islam and started it with Elijah Muhammad, he had a black father and a white mother, just like Obama. He was putting Obama on the same pedestal, that Obama is like the Messiah, you know, and good things are going to happen as a result of Obama being elected. 2012, Farrakhan, Obama is a murderer and an assassin. He's a murderer.
Things change.
Yeah, he went after Muammar Gaddafi. Obama bombed Africa. Went after Muammar Gaddafi, and Farrakhan is like Obama is a murderer and an assassin. Now, is the guy a savior, a messiah, or is he a murderer and an assassin? You see what I'm saying? This is Farrakhan.
The thing is about this is that people got to understand that we're all people. And you can't, like you said, you can't be wrapped up into what somebody that, even if they have a strong influence, because everybody, you know, there are leaders out here. That don't mean that they're leading you in the right direction.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they know all the answers. And as an individual, we must understand that and look at it for just that. Amen. And not depend on that for our salvation, not depend on that for, you know.
Look, I could go on and tell you even more, but listen, I'm just saying, these zealots and fanatics, back off. You know, I'm just being...
Wake up. Wake up.
Wake up, you know. I can tell you about Jim Jones. I can tell you about everybody else, you know.
It goes on and on. And anybody living to that age should know better by now.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure speaking with everybody, and we'll see you next week on Urban Revolution at Revolution Radio, freedomsmith.com.
All right, One Iam. Peace.
Peace.